And good morning, everybody. Welcome in to another edition of the Pattison Ave Sports Show. I'm your host, James Scorza, with you, and with me, as always, is a group of companions on a busy, I guess you could say, just counting the days until football season comes around. Training camp starting this week. Phillies inconsistency woes continue to bite them. But alongside the back in the saddle for the first time since 2 weeks ago, Joey Marks on this very important Saturday. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Philadelphia. Good morning, James. It's good to be back. I needed to kind of take a mental wellness day kind of last Saturday, but I appreciate Mike Lauro filling in. But let's get down to it. Frank Finnigan joins us this morning. Frank, how are you doing this morning?
Happy midsummer. Happy midsummer. How are you
Glad
guys
that
doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. All is
Good to be
well.
back. It's good to be
Good to be
back.
back in the saddle again with you, my friend. It's good to see you again.
Yep.
But we got a lot to get to on this very important Saturday, like we just brought up here. So, Joe, simply put, since you've been off for the last 2 weeks, where do we begin on this beautiful Saturday?
So, I'm flipping the script on you guys. So, on the show prep, I had it as the Eagles first, and we are going Phillies first. After last night, it makes things a little more clear about what this team is in some way. And I just want to see if I can get a consensus from you guys. Look, the Phillies beat the New York Yankees in Yankee Stadium 12-5. Now, I'm going to kind of enlighten people a little bit. And so some of you may know that I have no sight. I lost my sight about 4 years ago when me, Al Safiri, and Edge of Philly Sports, along with Philly Sports Trips, went up to Yankee Stadium for the Yankees versus the Phillies. In Yankee Stadium, that's the last time I had visible sight.
Wow.
And so that was my last visual memory was of Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
So the idea of the Phillies and the Yankees in Yankee Stadium right after my 4-year anniversary of my vision loss kind of like hits me a little bit, in the heart. But the Phillies beating the living snot out of those Yankees, unlike what they did 4 years ago, that made my heart skip a beat because as Charlie Manuel will say, and as James Scords has said on this program many times, it's hitting season.
Yep.
So with that being said, I got to lead off with this question, and I'm throwing it to you, Frank. Is Bryce Harper back? Is the Bryce we know and love, is he back?
Yes, Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is back. He's in midseason form. He had a little hiccup when he got hurt, but Bryce is going to do what Bryce is going to do. He's always done this. It's not Bryce Harper's not the problem. Kyle Schwarber's not the problem. The rest of the team is the problem. and I mean, Bryce is. I mean, we're lucky. We're really lucky in this town over the last 40 years to see the players that we have seen play, because the previous 80 years were abysmal with brief periods of sunshine. Very, very, very brief periods of sunshine. But this, Bryce Harper he's a once in a lifetime player, and we're damn lucky to have him. I don't think his skills have diminished all that much, but he's showing signs. But the last 2 weeks, he's been hitting the cover off the ball. I mean, he's playing like Bryce Harper. He's playing like everything we paid him for. And I mean, him and Schwarber. You look at those two guys, and Wheeler. You look at those three guys, and you go, okay, that was money well spent. That was money well spent. Some of the other players, not so much.
So, James, I'm going to throw that same question to you. Me and you in the last, I don't know, month or so have had this conversation back and forth about Bryce Harper and, his injuries, and is this guy like on his downswing of his career? Is he slowing down? All of that. Now, I get it. It's just a glimpse into the window, but the thing that made me jump back and say, and ask this question is that second deck home run
Right.
that it had a couple days ago. Because in my opinion, a guy that's got a bad elbow or bad wrist or whatever, even if it's sore, inflamed, or whatnot, that guy cannot hit the ball that far.
Right.
It just that's not human almost. And unless your name is Kyle Schwarber, and then
Sure.
he just says I can hit it further than you can.
Right.
But you know, the thing is with Bryce, me and you have had this conversation. Is he like on the downswing? So I got to ask, like, seeing what you've seen and his performance lately, what, you know, because we've had this debate, you know, like, do you still think Bryce is on a downswing, or do you think Bryce is back?
Well, it's a good question to ask because you think about the last couple times with Bryce Harper, with his lack of injuries, and also with his the terminology that I was talking about a couple weeks ago about his injury history too. But the thing with Bryce Harper is the way he has come back from that wrist injury has been really pretty remarkable after the season he has had the last handful of weeks and all that. So for me, it was kind of cool to see that kind of stuff too. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be something to keep a close eye on. And we got a couple comments here. So Mitzkowski joins us like he always does every Saturday. He says good morning to us.
Morning,
And by the way, if you are watching this show right now, hit that like and subscribe button on our social media platforms on Hardcore Sports Network and also Stream Punk Entertainment. Halftime checks in for the first time today. Philly Halftime says what's up, everybody, and good morning. So it's good to see people are very locked and loaded on this very important Saturday. But back to my point here. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would say he's back a little bit. I mean, I gotta see more of it, like, just because I would like to see more of like if he continues to be going down this road and actually getting back to normalcy. I mean, it's good to see. I mean, I'm actually pretty impressed to see that stuff. But I feel like I'm having like that Joel Embiid effect. Like, okay, when's that next injury gonna happen? Not to the extent of Embiid. Let's not keep it.
You can't invoke Joel Embiid's name and Bryce Harper's name in the same sentence.
I understand that,
James. You just can't.
I understand that, but it's like
as far as
the injuries are like the injuries are similar though. I mean, they're kind of similar to.
Yeah, but as great a player as Joel Embiid is,
I get that.
He's got a big old black hole where his heart is.
I know,
and nobody can ever say that Bryce Harper doesn't have a heart.
No, I don't believe me. He has a heart. I get me wrong. I know what you mean by that. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. No, just like the injury front. It's just like I didn't mean to bring up the Embiid sorcery of that, but overall, I mean, the thing about it too is that I mean, it's like I said, it's good to see him back to normal a little bit. But hopefully, if he can continue into the next few months or so, that's the most important key, especially when that time calls for crunch time to hit in the next handful of months too.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing: is we are going to need MV3 to be coming through, especially now. So, like, if he's going to go on the tear, now is the time. Like, it's time that all of us heat up. Like JT Realmuto is heating up. Like. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Frank hit the nail on the head in a bit by saying, Schwarber and Harper aren't the problem. The rest of the team is. The lack of inconsistency that people like JT Realmuto had, the Alec Baum, who we're going to get into a little bit in a minute, Nick Castellanos even. There's a part of this where you start to, Trey Turner's been hitting more consistently, but I still can't figure out why this guy doesn't like hitting home runs at the bank. He still has no home runs at Citizens Bank Ballpark as a Philly. So it's just
this year he's hit home runs there before, but just this year.
Right. And I'm just like, okay, I don't understand. Like, we don't have like this pitcher's ballpark, like we want you to hit them here. And maybe, and I was thinking about it, maybe he's saving them for the postseason. Maybe he's going to hit them all out of the ballpark at the bank during the postseason. That's fine by me.
I love you, Joe. I do. I do. I love you. I love your eternal optimism. But I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to pee on your cornflakes here, buddy.
Oh.
The Phillies are not going to make the playoffs.
What?
If
Okay.
if
Now, why are
Dombrowski
you
does
going to
not,
do this? Why are you
well,
going to do this?
because I am who I am, Joe, and I'm a truth teller. Okay. And if Dombrowski does not get another bat by the end of this week, and he doesn't get a better arm than Robertson, the Phillies will be in third place by the middle of September, and they will be out of the playoff race.
Third place in the NL East?
East, yes. But they will be out of the playoff race. They will be out of the wild card hunt.
Okay. I don't feel like that's the case because I do feel like and here's why
what's the record since the beginning of June, Joe?
Hold on. Let me explain. Okay? Because I know where you're going with that. But let me explain. You also the idea that this team has been playing playoff caliber teams and beating them. You know, the Yankees they're slumping, but they're not a lousy team.
No, they're in first place in their division.
And we beat the Reds and they're not a lousy team. We beat the Padres and they're not a lousy team. Like that's the thing is I understand the cynicism about, well, you need a bullpen arm. Look, Dave Dombrowski, I agree, has made lukewarm, if best, moves at the past trade deadlines. I agree. But I also feel like the way that this roster is currently constructed, I can't say that this isn't a playoff team, even if they squeak in. And I don't think they're going to, because you're still going to be playing teams that you should beat. And you're going to still be playing high caliber teams that you've already proven you can beat. So, like, I get it. Their record from June 1st to now is like hovering on the 500 mark. I get that.
It's not hovering, Joe. It is at 500.
Right.
They're like 31-31 since June. Since the beginning of June. They're treading water.
Well,
okay.
Let me ask you this: when we were sitting here this time last year, and the Phillies were like the kings of baseball at that point, we thought we couldn't be touched, and yet the New York Mets whooped our ass like we stole something. And
Joe, at this point last year, by mid-July, the Phillies had cooled off because when they went to London and lost to the Mets, that was the breaking point. They played 500 ball from that point on, and there was nothing that the Phillies did in July and August and September that gave me any hope that they were going to succeed in the postseason. Nothing. And this team, and I told you guys this at the beginning of the season, and Joe, you know me, I'm a Phillies fan, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you what I see as the older guy here and watching baseball for 50 years, and what I see is a team that does not have enough. They do not have enough, and they just, I'm sorry, but they're going to fall. And you're going to watch teams. You're going to watch teams that are in division contention with them this week make trades. The Mets already started. They made a deal with the Orioles. You know, that Middleton is not going to trade away the kids because he doesn't want to go through what happened in 13, 14, and 15 again.
I'm going to come to that question.
And because of that, they're not going to get the guys they want. He's right up against the double dip salary luxury tax. He's not going to do that. I mean, they're going to go with the guys they've got. And if this core can't get it done this year, this is the end of the road for this core. The only people that are going to be left from this team at the end of this season that are core are going to be Harper, Turner, Wheeler, Nola. Everybody else is fair game. They're gonna have to start over.
Now, here's my thing. Am I right in saying this, Frank, that you have this opinion now, but you have the right to change your mind if Dombrowski does make a big move?
Yes,
okay.
And I told you that the last time I was on. I said Dombrowski has to do something by the trade deadline. If they don't do anything by the trade deadline, they're third place and they're out of the playoffs.
Well,
Because
I gotta ask this. Now that we're bringing Dombrowski up and all of this, like there are some things that make me wonder whether Dombrowski has lost his magic touch. Now, I was on another sports podcast earlier in the week, and I basically asked the same question to a bunch of people that are all over the country. One actually from Boston, where Dombrowski actually won a World Series for that team. Here's the thing. I asked the question, like, has Dave Dombrowski lost the Midas touch? Because you got to look at the last two off seasons and the last two trade deadlines. I don't care who you are. Whit Merrifield is not getting it done. Max Kepler is not getting it done. And Brandon Marsh, he was good piece for that short stint. And then that was it. But you also had, Thor that you brought in that did nothing. And, that's the thing is the not just the trades for Dave Dombrowski. Like Jordan Romano is another one. Like, not even just the trades, but like just the acquisitions.
Well,
it feels like he's missing.
I can give you an explanation for that, Joe. There's a couple of reasons why it happens that way. One is the luxury tax. Okay. Two is because of the expanded playoff qualification, teams are less reluctant to let guys go because pretty much you have a shot to make the playoffs all the way through August. If you're close to 500 or if you're at 500 and a little over in both leagues, you have a shot to make the playoffs, which makes quality players less available. Okay. Yeah. There's less sellers on the market and way more buyers. And
that's been something that's been around.
When Dombrowski built his last big playoff teams in Boston and Detroit too, right? He did it in Detroit as well.
Detroit, yeah.
This market didn't exist like this. Yeah. There were guys available. And the fact that you have an owner, and I don't care what he says, but I mean what he said in his comments last week kind of indicates that he's not going to trade the kids away.
So let's get into that comment. He basically said he would love to win. He wants to win now, but he's not willing to gamble by emptying the cupboards.
He's done that before.
In his own words. And Frank, you've been on this show and have said in the past, you have complained about the lack of farm system years past. And finally, we're kind of getting a little bit of a foothold in that farm system. Not saying like we're the Atlanta Braves or anything in the farm system, but we are getting better than we were 2 or 3 years ago.
Absolutely. We've done much better.
You're building that farm system. So, I'm going to ask you because you're bringing this quote up. Is this the right mindset as an owner? Because if you empty the cupboards, don't you risk going back to that time in which you were complaining that there is no farm system?
Well, yes. That's the whole point. He doesn't want to have to go through 13, 14, 15 again.
So he doesn't think it's worth it to hold on to those prospects then? It's
not that it's worth it, but Joe, he was stung. They traded away a lot of big pieces back then, and a lot of them didn't pan out, but that didn't matter. It left a dearth of talent in the minor league system. Now, at the time they acquired, Lee, Oswald, Halladay. They got all these guys, and the Four Aces was one of the best pitching staffs this town has ever seen, and they couldn't get it done.
Right.
Okay. So now he's looking at a team with the payroll budget of what it is, and he's going, no, if I trade away the kids and back up these old guys because they're not young anymore, okay? As well as Harper's playing right now, he's 32.
Right.
Okay, and JT is definitely showing signs of age, regardless of the fact that right now he's on a heater. Okay, he's looking at it like, if I trade away everybody for this team of aging players, and they don't get it done, I'm screwed again.
Mm-hmm.
I got 6 years of nothing.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's not Dombrowski that's the problem of what's going on. It's Middleton going, no, I got to make a decision for the good of the franchise. And I've taken my shot with this team, and they've had 4 years to do it, and they haven't gotten it done. Okay, well, I'm not gonna deplete my talent source in the minor leagues. I can replace those guys, let the kids come back and rebuild. He's got young pitchers he can rebuild with. If he keeps Suarez, he's got real young pitchers he can build with a couple of good with Sanchez and Suarez as the anchors to your pitching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm talking 5 years down the road.
Yeah, because Nola's going to still be here for like 3 or 4 more years. So
yes, and so is well, I mean,
Wheeler's got 2 years.
Right, Wheeler said he's going to retire when his contract's up.
Yeah, but here's my thing, Frank. Is so my friend came over and we watched the game last weekend, I think it was, and
right.
We were talking about the trade deadline. We were talking about the money and like going after these big names, and you're talking about Middleton not wanting to go over that second apron of luxury tax. Now, my question is, like, why not? I mean, you got the Dodgers and the Mets kind of going all in. Like, what is the downfall? It's just money. Like, what's the downfall to going over that second luxury tax other than money?
Well, the downfall when you go over that second luxury tax, you not only have to it becomes dollar for dollar at that point, and I believe it doubles.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets and the Dodgers and the Yankees literally have bottomless pits of money. Literally bottomless pits. Middleton, as rich as he is, does not have that kind of wallet. Okay, what the Mets did with Soto, and I mean, I love this because this is going to come back to really bite them in the ass. The Mets are going to be they're probably going to wind up winning the division this year with the talent that they have. But 3 years from now, the Mets are going to be the Mets again, and they're going to have a $700 million player who's a mediocre fielder at best. And they're going to regret that. They're going to regret that move, just like the Phillies would have regretted paying him $700 million. But you look at the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets, and they're the richest teams in the league. There's no doubt about it. They're the richest teams in the league, and Middleton doesn't want to lose the draft picks because when you go over the double line on the salary, the luxury tax, you also lose your top draft picks.
Okay.
You don't get to pick at the end of the draft. You don't get to pick at the end of the first round. You don't get to pick at the end of the second round. You lose those picks. Well, now you're depleting your farm system as well as depleting your wallet. And he's not willing to go there. He's making a decision basing it on, okay, how do I keep the franchise afloat? We couldn't get it done this way. We got to redo it again, but I got to keep people in this. I got to keep asses in the seats. So, he's walking a fine line. He's given this team as many chances as they could take to get it done, and they couldn't get it done. Now, you get past the fifth person in this batting order, and it's a black hole. They're automatic outs. You're not winning in the playoffs with that.
Well,
okay.
I would agree. I will agree with that. And one of the things that I'm going to bring up, and James, I'm going to ask you this question.
Sure.
So Frank brings up about trading and the trade pieces and whatnot. One of the people that the Phillies have been wanting to trade for a while, and B, someone that I felt like stock was up at the time, was Alec Baum. And Alec Baum was a guy who I felt like I would have loved to have kept. I guess maybe like 8 to 9 months ago, I would have loved to have kept, because I felt like he was a good third baseman, not a great third baseman, and a good batter, not a great batter. So like he was just right in that situation, but we don't need just right anymore.
Right.
And so, but the problem is with him now being on the 60-day IL, this is a problem because you don't even have the option to.
He's not on
trade.
60. He's not on a 60.
Yes, he is. He's 60-day or 30-day.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not on a 60.
I was gonna
He's
say
not
30.
on. Yeah,
30 days.
He's on the. Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back mid-August.
Yeah, but he will miss being able to be traded at the deadline, and that's an asset.
They wouldn't have traded him at the deadline.
Well, see, here's my thing: is you got to look at, if you're not going to trade the kids, you got to trade assets that you have up on your team. And Baum was batting before he got hurt. His batting average was up to 280, I believe. And the idea that this is a guy that is a good third baseman and a good batter, I'm sure there are teams that have like a black hole on that third base side that would welcome the addition of an Alec Baum, at least as a rental, if not for anything else. There have been worse deals done. Alex Bregman is a prime example. Bregman can't move laterally anymore, which is why they had to move him to first base.
Well, Joe, last off season, the Phillies tried like hell to move Alec Bohm.
I know,
and they got no biters.
But I will say that at that point, his stock was down. His stock.
Yeah, but no, actually, I don't think it was. I think.
Well, when you get sat for the playoffs, that's kind of like an indicator.
Yeah, that didn't look good. But I mean, he had a really good first half of the season last year, and he took an injury midpoint, and it took him a while to come back from that injury, and he never got it out of his head mentally. He's been fairly consistent this year. He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad. But he doesn't have any value. I mean, Alec Bohm. I mean, if they were going to get biters for somebody who wanted to fix a third base problem, they would have got it in the offseason last year, and they didn't. Nobody wanted to bite, or if they did, they were offered garbage in return, and Dombrowski wasn't going to take the garbage in return, and that's why they stopped going after Bregman the way they did, because they really wanted Bregman. The Phillies really wanted Bregman in the offseason, and they didn't go for it because they couldn't get anybody to bite on Bohm.
Let's be grateful for that because of what Bregman has turned into.
Yeah, but I mean, that I'm just going at it from their point of view.
No, I know. Yeah. I get it. But
they were looking for a more consistent bat, which Bregman is.
So the initial reports, because we had brought this up before, Frank, on this show about Nolan Arenado. So I read a report on ESPN a couple weeks ago or 2 weeks ago about how in the off season that they were trying to move Nolan Arenado. The problem was that the front office's price tag was too high, and it was they wanted top 5 prospect from the opposing team, from the trade partner, and
exactly.
No one's going to do that for a guy who's in his late 30s.
Right.
So, that's one of the main reasons why, like, some of these price tags, and this kind of brings me into my next question. And Frank, you brought this up, and I'll open this up to both of you, is that because of the way that the playoff brackets are aligned and the way that the setup is, it does kind of make it very difficult for there to be sure buyers and sure sellers. You still have teams like the Cardinals that aren't sure. You still have teams that are like, the Diamondbacks are definite sellers. They've already come out and said that. They want to sell everybody at this point. So you have teams that are not sure if they're buyers or sellers. And you have teams like the Diamondbacks that are for sure sellers. Now, Frank, what do you think this means as far as we get closer to the trade deadline? What does this mean for GMs when they're trying to make those bigger deals?
I'll tell you what it means. It means that the Phillies need a Howie Roseman.
Yes,
that's what it means. They need a guy who can look past right now. And make the deals that they have to make in a new environment. The guys that are running baseball now are old school and are running it on an old school environment. and you can't think that way anymore. The way they've structured this for the money deals for television to expand the playoff format has changed the way teams have to regard their talent, and it's difficult when your mindset has been run the same way for the last 40 years of baseball, and now you got to change. No, you need somebody who thinks out of the box to work your magic on a team. They need, the Phillies need a Howie Roseman. They absolutely need a Howie Roseman, and there isn't one there.
Gee, I wonder where I heard that before. Was that from you, James? I feel like I recall hearing someone say that to me once before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's true.
It's the way to go. It's the way to go.
This is why the NFL can't catch up with the Phillies or the Eagles, and they're trying to legislate out what Howie Roseman and the Eagles are doing. They can't beat them on the field, so they're trying to legislate it. Because he thinks ahead of the curve. He thinks ahead of the curve when it comes to money. He thinks ahead of the curve when it comes to procuring talent. He thinks ahead of the curve when it comes to drafting now. I mean, Howie is probably the most valuable piece in the Eagles organization. And I'm talking about players on the field, everything. He is he's the crown jewel. Howie's the crown jewel, as much as Maddie hates to hear that. But that's the truth. And the Phillies are going to need somebody like that. They're going to need a guy who thinks outside the box and is willing. But the problem with baseball is there are so many people involved in managing baseball teams that are stuck in the box they're in, the 40-year box they're in, and they're not coming out of the box because they're not going to go. They're not going to leave their comfort zone. They're not going to do something that makes them feel uncomfortable to take a risk, because that's not what you do in baseball.
Does the idea, because you're bringing up about how some of these old school guys are just kind of behind the times and things are changing.
Yes.
Don't you think that there's also going to be another drastic change coming up in about a year or so, where the CBA is going to come up? And there's already talks and these little rumblings of a potential salary cap in baseball. I don't know if that's going to actually come to fruition, because I can't see the Players Association really signing off on that.
Well, they're not going to sign off on it, and baseball absolutely needs a salary cap. They absolutely need it. Okay, they need a hard cap because the inmates run the show. Okay, and it's just. You can't look. I feel for teams like Minnesota, and that can't pull the money out and play with the coastal teams. They just can't. And the coastal teams are definitely taking advantage of that. And I mean, we're one of those teams. The Mets, the Yankees, Boston, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants. Those teams all have more money than God because of where they are. And you get to the middle part of the country, and they just don't have the fan base and the draw that can create the revenue stream that you need. But we have more people than we need, and that creates the disparity. So the only way to compete with that, and the only way to make it better, and baseball should do this. I mean, but those guys are so stupid they can't even get out of their own way when it comes to stuff like this. They have to stand firm, and it's going to mean a strike. It's going to mean baseball might have to shut down for an entire year for this to happen. Wow. But they have to get the players to agree to a salary cap. There's a way to do it. There is. I mean, it's happened in basketball, and it definitely happens in hockey. It happens in football, and in football, it's kind of really barbaric with how they have their players locked up, because those guys aren't making the money that the other sports guys are. Even though you see the big contracts, you'll see a guy get a $40 million a year contract, but by and large, most of the football players are underpaid for their skill set. And, that's not true in baseball.
However,
I think the minimum salary in baseball is like over $1.5 million for a guy.
Well, a rookie just out of this last draft, I think, just got like $3 million. So
right. So I mean, but in football, I mean, I think the minimum pay for a football player is less than $1 million.
Yeah, and I mean, like that's the thing though. Like in some of the base for some of these football players, if you were to see some of these salaries now for some of these players, even in the lower end of the scale, you go and talk to like guys who played football for that same position, 10 or 15 that played 10 or 15 years ago. They're like, yeah, I would have killed for that. So like, yeah, I get your logic. I do. And I'm worried about the lockout only because that almost puts more pressure that we have to get it done this year. Because there may not be a playoffs or World Series next year. Because the CBA comes up about this time next year. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting circumstance overall. But my final question with the Phillies is this, and our good buddy Mitch Kofsky brought this up to me, and I felt like this was a topic that had to be kind of put out there. Does Rob Thompson get too much heat when it comes down to, what he does with this team, knowing what lack of talent he has in both the bullpen and on his bench? Frank, do you think he gets too much heat?
Well,
sometimes he gets too much heat, and then sometimes he does things that just
drive you crazy.
I don't understand.
It drive you crazy, man.
Like never retaliating when his guys are getting beamed. I mean that stuff like that. I mean, I'm sorry, Rob. Where did you play baseball?
Right.
Did you play baseball in a powder puff league? I mean that stuff like that drives me crazy. I'm
with you.
I'm going to tell you something. The real killer for this team this year, the thing that really, really, really hurt this team, it's not Rob Thompson, because Rob Thompson, those players love him. Okay, the real killer for this team has been Alvarado. Alvarado just committed suicide for this baseball team for doing what he did. He put them in a really bad spot at the worst time. And because of his not being there and not being available for a playoff run, it's going to cost this team. It's going to cost this team the playoffs. They're not going to make it. This team is not going to make the playoffs. I'll be stunned if they make the playoffs.
My buddy was basically saying to me the other day when he was over, he basically said Alvarado basically detonated a bomb inside that clubhouse for this season.
Yep.
He did.
He basically took everything that these guys worked on for the off season, and he said, "Shh," and then he detonated the bomb, and then all of a sudden,
I understand why he did it. I mean, he's trying to get himself better and stronger, and but I mean, come on, Jose, they're hard on this stuff. They just baseball just doesn't want that kind of PR, so they're going to penalize you for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you gotta be smarter than
stupid.
that.
You're stupid for doing it. And I mean, if you can't heal that fast, then you tell the team, look, I'm having trouble healing, so we have to change my rehabilitation program or whatever. You don't go sticking a needle in your arm.
That's where I go to like the team docs and literally say what you said, and you kind of put that in their hands. Go fix me. Like, it's your job. Like the player's job is to win ball games. The GM's job is to put the players in the right positions. It's the doctor's job, the team doctor's job, to fix the players.
Look, the professional franchises in this country enjoy the finest medical treatment money can buy.
Yes. I agree.
I mean, I'm sorry, you can't get this kind of medical treatment anywhere else in the world for what the professional athletes get.
Yep.
And to not utilize that and to take a shortcut, because you don't want to do the work. Okay, because that's what it tells me. It tells me he didn't want to do the work. He wanted to take a pill and have that do the work for him. Well, that's an incredibly selfish thing to do. And you're getting paid a lot of money to do the work, because that's all you have to do is the work. And then when you reach 35 years old, you retire and sit on the mountain of cash that you've accumulated. But what you've done is you've taken the franchise that has given you that mountain of cash and you screwed them, and you screwed the fans, and you screwed your teammates, and you did it for selfish reasons. And that's what I mean by, he screwed this team on more than one level, by eliminating one of the better closers in the league and alleviating the pressure on the bullpen and letting down the team because they're losing games. They're blowing late. It's had a downstream effect that has really had a problem. It's really made the Phillies very vulnerable. If Alvarado was still here, I wouldn't have the position that they wouldn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you in that, because here's the thing with Rob Thompson, when we had Alvarado and everything was right with the world, he had Kerkering, Romano, and Alvarado.
Right.
He had those first three horses in the bullpen, and then he could flex out, Tywin Walker and Joe Ross or whatever. He could flex those. You're not going to lose more games because you can't figure out who your middle reliever is. You're not going to lose games that way.
Right.
You're going to lose games when you can't figure out who your closer is going to be and that they're going to shut the door.
Right.
And he had that figured out in the beginning, Rob did. But then when this whole thing happened, for a short stint, Romano did his job, but then he fell off a cliff. He went into reality. And I think between him and Luzardo, there's this state of, okay, which one is the real person? Is it this pitcher that we saw that shut down everybody, or is it this person that can't get anybody out?
Right.
And that is where Rob Thompson, I believe, is. He's like, I put these guys where I feel like they could succeed. It's their job to succeed.
Yes.
I can't do the job for them.
Right.
And that's why, when Mitch and I have this conversation, and he's like, but it's Rob Thompson's fault. I'm like, how? If a cook has succotash and pasta, and you expect him to make filet mignon, you just can't.
No.
You're right about that, Joe. You're not wrong.
No, but ultimately, Joe, and this is just, you can't replace the talent. You replace the guy that's driving the boat.
Right.
I agree with that.
And he's going to take the hit for this.
Yeah.
Rob Thompson's going to take the hit for it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Rob was good for. Like I said, Rob does things that drive me crazy, and I don't understand it. He's been a pretty good manager for the Phillies. The guys they had before him were, oh my God, they were just horrible. But at least he's been stable.
Yeah.
Well, there was no stability before. Oh God.
Well, let's go.
Think about it.
Let's turn the page to a franchise that is stable. The Philadelphia Eagles, your Super Bowl 59 champions, who will raise the banner in little more than 6 weeks' time.
Yes, sir.
And they will be able to do so on their field against their rival, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, that will be a sweet scene in South Philadelphia, but I'm going to start with a question that I didn't have on my prep sheet, but that I heard about yesterday, which was the conversation that has been now put out to season ticket holders that the Philadelphia Eagles are thinking about building a new stadium. Now, the reason why this is, I think, is because Jeffrey Lurie wants to host a Super Bowl. He wants the Super Bowl to come here. So there's one of two choices, and it's put a roof on the link or build a new stadium. And if you build a new stadium, you could put new amenities in. You could think about it from a different architectural standpoint. Whereas if you just put the roof on the link, you're sticking with that, architecture you already have. You may even confine it because the link was built as a stadium for an outdoor stadium. Usually when you put a roof on an outdoor stadium, it doesn't always work out well. Arizona tried to do that for a short stint, and it just did not work well. So that's why they called it the humidor, because they put the roof on an outdoor stadium, and that was originally built for an outdoor stadium, and then they realized, why is it cooking in here? Because you're in Arizona, you put a roof on an outdoor stadium. That could be why. So there's also the idea that with the Philadelphia football scene. Now, Frank, you're the guy, the legend in this panel. My question to you is, would you actually, it's two questions. Would you want a new stadium with a roof on it, or would you want to put a roof on the link, and does it take away from Philadelphia football?
Okay. I'm going to take a neutral answer here. You may not like it, but I want the notoriety of having a Super Bowl in this town. Okay. I would love that. I mean, you saw when they did the draft here that I don't care
That's
who's
true.
done. I don't care who's done the draft in the last 10
We've
years.
done it better, and I was there for all 3 days.
We've done it better, and I was at the one in Nashville. Okay, and yes, we did it better than Nashville, and Nashville is a party town.
Yes.
So
That's true.
I would like Philly to be a showcase town and take some glory from New York. I still want outside football. You're not going to get a Super Bowl with outside football.
Nope.
So I say, okay, build a new stadium with a retractable dome.
See, now I'm all for that. I am, because here's my thing. I'm not for keep the dome and that's it. Like, I want a retractable dome. I want something where we could choose to keep the dome open. Like snow days, keep it open. We're all Philadelphia. We can take it. Let those pussy living, Southern boys, like freeze their asses off.
Exactly.
Like, that's fine.
Right. Exactly right.
But like when we want to make the money and have a Super Bowl here, close that dome, and let's make the money, and let's, I can't. So I
will say this. I will say this, Joe. Jeffrey Lloyd bought this team for $195 million. Okay. It is now worth north of $3 billion.
Yes.
Okay. I would say closer to $5 billion.
Yep.
He's made an enormous amount of money on this team.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
His return on investment is like absurd.
It's absurd. If he turns around and tries to blackmail the city into helping build the stadium, that I will not support. I'm sorry.
I don't think he will need to do that. I mean, I just don't.
It's not about needing to do that. It's about having the ability to do it, because the city knows that he knows that the city knows what the value is, and then he saw the shenanigans that the Sixers pulled and got the city to do what they wanted to do.
Okay, but
until Comcast or until the people that control the Wachovia Center made a better deal with the Sixers. He will use that leverage to get that deal from the city, and that would really disappoint me.
But here's the difference. He's not going to build a stadium in Center City. He's building it pretty much down in the complex.
I know that, but he's going to try and get the taxpayers of Philadelphia to pay for part of it when he really shouldn't. The taxpayers of Philadelphia have made him a multi-billionaire.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So guess what? We've done our share, and Joe, when they open up the new stadium, there's going to be a whole new set of seat licenses. The people that have seat licenses now are probably going to be able to keep them, but I guarantee you he's going to be expanding that seat license program to probably another 20 or 30 or 40,000 seats, of which I'm going to buy one. I'm going to buy two. Okay. because I'm on the list. I'm on the waiting list for tickets. I've been on the list. I'm sitting at like 29,000 now. So when they build a new stadium, I will be in line to buy my tickets because I loved going to the games. It was so much fun going to games, and I just don't go anymore because I don't have season tickets.
This is the way that I
hear
see
you
it,
on that.
and maybe both of you guys could agree. So I live blocks away from the stadium. So,
Oh yeah,
here's my thing: if the Eagles, and like I really gave thought to this, like if the Eagles build this stadium and we host the Super Bowl, and the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, and then the Eagles win the Super Bowl, I think
my
South
God.
Philly will implode. Like I just think
Oh.
that's like an alignment of stars. It's
Joe,
like
they've greased poles before.
I'm not worried about the greased poles. I'm worried about other stuff. I'm worried about hearing like explosions.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about poles. Like they can grease the poles. I mean, people can do what they want to do there. It's the explode. I mean, when they won the Super Bowl this past year, my wife and I are trying to go. My wife had work the next day, and my daughter had school the next day, and so we're all trying to go to sleep. That's not happening.
No,
Wasn't happening.
No, it's not
And
happening.
so she's like hearing people at 1 o'clock in the morning, and she's looking over at me going,
Joe, I live in Voorhees. And in Voorhees, it was like that after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Till like 3 o'clock in the morning, there was noise all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean,
so the entire Delaware Valley was electrified. So,
but you got to admit, like, if the Super Bowl was here and the Eagles were in it and they won it, it's going to be a different. I mean, you might see the players go down Broad Street.
Yeah,
like,
you know what's sad about that, Joe? You know what's sad about that? If the Eagles are in the Super Bowl in Philadelphia, it won't be Eagles fans inside the stadium. It'll be all the. You might get
the outsiders.
You might get 12 or 14 or 15,000 Eagles fans in the stadium, but it's all the sponsors because that's where the tickets go.
Yeah, that's true.
Other than the 100 players that are going to get suspended for selling their tickets at higher than face value, because the players get tickets too, but they're selling them for. I mean, they got caught, which really just what NFL. This gets back, but this gets back to how the iron grip that the NFL has on its players, because they will think nothing of selling a Super Bowl ticket for $5,000. They won't. It won't even cross their mind that that's obscene.
Right.
But if a player sells it for $5,001, they're going to stomp on him like he's a mangy dog. And I mean, that just shows the iron grip that they have on their players.
Especially if it's like a guy like
like a special teamer who doesn't make any money. He's a minimum
make any
player.
money that he has what 10 tickets they might get. He sells them for like 10,000 a pop. He makes basically what he made for a year with selling his Super Bowl tickets. Like, dude, let him have it. It's enough. It's okay. It's still putting a butt in the seat for you.
Yeah, but the NFL didn't get their piece of that upcharge. That's what that's about, Joe.
That's so stupid.
That's what it's about. They upcharged the ticket, and the NFL didn't get a cut. Well, they can't have that. They want a cut of everything. They want a cut of everything.
That upcharge of their bottom line is like 0.00001% of what that is.
They count every single penny. They count every single penny. There's no penny unaccounted for in the NFL. And if there is, God help you, because they got a legal department that's going to stomp you for it. You try putting NFL logos up here on your screen and generate commercial content, get paid for what we're doing. And if you put an NFL thing up there and there's money generated, you're going to get a lawsuit. It's either going to be a cease and desist or cut us in.
See, now, James.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Don't get your ire up because we're not doing the read. But that's why we have like sponsors like Rally House and Fanatics. I don't need to go to the NFL. I'll just go to the people that they actually distribute their products to partner with us.
That's true.
Like it's the I'm the third man down on the totem pole from Roger Goodell, which is not a really good place to be. Which is not a good place to be.
No.
But so let's get into fellas. Training camp kicked off this
Yes,
week.
it did.
Yes, it
Which
did.
means we are, if you can breathe into the air, you can smell football season right around the corner.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about the garbage that was basically picked up about a week or a half ago in Philadelphia. Anyhow, so the position battles are back in my mind this preseason in this training camp. Frank, my first question to you is, what position battles are you most looking forward to seeing this preseason on the Philadelphia Eagles?
My position battles are. I think the Eagles are solid everywhere but safety. I think they are. You hear the pundits talk about the Eagles and Jalen, and
Oh, we'll get to that.
I'm sorry, but there's not a better roster in football, and we have, as Eagles fans, never had the ability to say that ever in our entire lives. We have never been that elite. Okay, and I am really enjoying this. And the fact that the only thing that I am concerned about is the safety position says to me everything I need to know about where this team is as a franchise on the field. That being said, Micah Parsons' comments and Miles Sanders' comments are quite humorous. I find it very funny that the jealous are piping in on things they really don't have any authority to speak on, because the Cowboys haven't won a championship since before Michael Parsons' parents were married, let alone before he was born. And Miles Sanders ran behind the same offensive line that Saquon ran behind, and he never produced 2,000 yards. So shut up, Miles, and it ain't going to help you that you're in Dallas. It's just going to mean it's going to hurt more when we hit you.
Yeah, I mean, Miles is just like that ex-girlfriend.
He's so jealous.
He's kind of like, I feel like the Taylor Swift song should kick in right now. Like, that's the way I feel right now. Like, he's such like the jealous ex-girlfriend that's
well,
like,
he wasn't Saquon at Penn State.
Enough.
He wasn't Saquon at Penn State. He wasn't Saquon in Philly. He definitely wasn't Saquon in, as I said to James before the show started. He definitely wasn't Saquon in Carolina. And right. I have relatives that are season ticket holders in Carolina, and I go to the games down there quite often. And guess what? They hated him. And I mean, so much so that he was out of the lineup.
Yeah.
Like they didn't run him. So
and that's
all of a sudden,
bad when you're Carolina and
you're over here throwing shade at Saquon because he ran behind a good offensive line for the first time in his career. I'm sorry, but he had 1,000-yard seasons in New York behind one of the worst lines ever, and he still gained yards. And he got the crap kicked out of him every Sunday, which isn't happening here because defensive linemen aren't able to touch him. Right. He's getting hit by secondary guys who weigh just as much as him and don't hit nearly as hard as a friggin' 350-pound lineman.
Yeah, that's why he's running out of bounds.
Yes. He was unscathed this year and went through without a soft tissue injury. Remember the soft tissue? Yeah, wait till he gets a soft tissue. Where were the soft tissue injuries this year? He didn't get them.
He didn't get them because he wasn't getting hit. That was a shot at me. Okay.
No, it wasn't a shot at you. It wasn't a shot at you, Joe. It was a shot at the Giants fans who were really sorry that they lost them. But it's the same guys. It was the same guys from Washington who said about Bryce, "Oh yeah, he's great. The first 4 months of the season, he's not going to hit. So good luck with that," because that was his MO down there. With the Giants, they're like, "Yeah, soft tissue injuries. Take him out of the lineup. He doesn't play every season." I'm sorry, but Saquon came out of this season the healthiest he's ever come out of a season in his life.
He's just getting started, man.
I'm skipping down to this question because you brought up Jalen Hurts, and so I don't want to frame the same question over and over again, but so I'm going to frame it in a different way. Do people evaluate Jalen Hurts differently, and why?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. This is my personal feeling about it. I don't give, pardon my language, a shit what people think about Jalen Hurts on a national level. I don't care if they rank him 77th out of 70. You know what matters? The end of the year. Wins matter. Championships matter. Controlling what happens on a field matters to me. I don't care what they think of him. I know what I see. I know what my eyes tell me. And my eyes tell me this is, as far as I'm concerned, top 3 quarterback in Philadelphia history.
James, I'm going to let you respond before I kind of go on.
Merritt. Yeah, I don't let it bother me what Hurts like is ranked or where he is where everybody looks at him as. I look at it as one thing every single week. All he does is win. Plain and simple. All he does. That's all he does. And overall, I mean, I'm not gonna be one guy that's gonna say that I appreciate the experts trying to tell me everything you need to know. I mean, like Cam Newton, for a good example. I mean, Cam Newton couldn't like stop a fucking nosebleed. One of my friends too, but come on, man. I mean, like, this is the same guy that couldn't beat Peyton Manning when he was like 50 years old in his Super Bowl. I mean, this is the same guy that couldn't even. I mean, Jalen Hurts beat it. I mean, and even like Nick Foles at the time beat it Tom Brady. But the difference is that Tom Brady won another Super Bowl right after that. I mean, beating 2 top players in their prime it's just so. I mean, the thing about what Hurts is just that, like, he's just at the peak of his career, and nobody wants to see it. But at the same time, too, maybe it's just a jealousy thing, like the same thing me and Mitch brought up yesterday on our Fly Like an Eagle pod.
No, it's not. It's not jealousy. It's he's not for them.
Flashy.
He's not enough sizzle.
Yes.
He's not enough sizzle. That you know what Jalen Hurts is, and I hate to make this comparison because it's really not true, but it is true. He's Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah.
You know? He just gets the job done. Terry Bradshaw wasn't flashy, but he let the people around him do what they're supposed to do and controlled it. Okay? The difference between that is he's got legs, he can run. Okay? And that's an X factor that Bradshaw never had. I mean, Bradshaw couldn't run up the street without taking a sundial to time him. You know, he was just slow as hell. But he had great players. But that was the game back then. But you know, Jalen Hurts just wins. And I mean, we had a guy in this town a few years back, you know, Buddy Ryan, who said about Chris Carter, well, all that guy ever does is catch touchdown passes. That's all he ever does. And yeah, he was right. You know, and Chris Carter turned into a Hall of Fame player. Now he let him go, but he had to. You know, there was a reason for that.
But so this is where I'm at with Jalen and why I think he gets evaluated differently from different people. So it's not just the national pundits. It's not just the Cam Newtons. And, you know, we brought it up about a week or so ago, James, with me, you, and Mitch on Fly Like an Eagle. I didn't really know what Mitch was talking about in regards to Cam Newton, but when I found out and heard the comments, boy, did it get my blood boiling. And it's not as though I care in the sense of, like, I take it personally, like Jalen probably should.
He laughs at it. He laughs at it, dude.
But here's my thing. I also hear from the local pundits, and it just makes me think, okay, all you're trying to do is be the contrarian. All you're trying to do is be the opposite side of that argument because it gets you attention.
Clickbait.
Right.
Clickbait, exactly right.
Here's my thing. Jalen Hurts, if you go around the league right now, okay, you go to every player on those training camps, in those locker rooms, and you ask them, what is the number one goal for you this season? Every single one of them is going to say to win the championship. And if they're not in it for that, then what the hell do you suit up for?
Unless you're in Dallas.
Well, but even they think they have that chance.
Yeah.
Like, you got guys like CeeDee Lamb. You got guys like Micah Parsons. You got guys like Miles Sanders. Hell, you got guys like Jerry Jones that are sitting there saying that they have a chance. Dak
They
Prescott,
do.
too.
They do. They do have a
They
chance.
do.
Right up
Everyone is
until
0-0.
the opening gun.
Right.
Right up until
Everyone
the
is
opening gun.
0-0.
Exactly.
Everyone has that chance.
Right.
Every player aspires to be that champion. And
Mhm.
so no pundit says, well, that shouldn't be the way it is. No one says that. Everyone that hears that, every national and local analyst, any sports analyst says, well, that's the way it should be. Yes.
Mhm.
So then why is it that when Jalen Hurts exemplifies that, not just by words, not by just hearing him say it, but by action, by actually doing it, by getting to a Super Bowl twice, by not letting
In 3 years.
by not letting one Super Bowl loss define not getting back there again. It's what he said on the sideline made so much sense to me about what drives Jalen Hurts. And that is, the last time I was here, these guys took my soul. I'm here to get my soul back. And like, that is the difference. Is there's guys that have this killer instinct. Tom Brady has it. Guys like Pat Mahomes has it. But when Pat Mahomes went against this defense, then all of a sudden he became human. Here's the thing. Jalen Hurts gets evaluated differently because it's like Frank said, the talent around them.
Right.
Why is he indicted for Howie Roseman doing a great job?
He's not sexy.
Well, no, because he's not on like the next State Farm commercial.
He's not sexy. He's not a sexy player. Football wants a guy on television who's sexy. And by sexy, I mean like just drops back and throws the 60-yard bombs all the time.
Right.
Spinning nickels on his forehead, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not Hurts. That's not Hurts.
But here's the thing. Instead of filming all these commercials during the offseason after being the Super Bowl MVP and all of that, you know where Jalen Hurts was this summer?
Film room.
Vacationing with Michael Jordan.
Back in the film room and vacationing with Michael Jordan. Exactly right.
Yeah,
so this is a guy that's going to Michael Jordan and saying, "You won." Now, how do I go back to win?
Like you?
How
do I go back to win? How do I do that? How do you do that?
You know what? He showed you on the ring ceremony day. They had to ask him, "Did you put the ring on?"
Nope.
And he didn't answer. I mean, he was like, he was very vague.
I'm already past it. I'm moving on.
Yeah. He's moving on.
It's become an ornament for my Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because here's the thing, Frank, and this is going to get every Eagles fans put a smile on your face this Saturday, because he's not about one. Even though he wears it on his chest, he's not about one ring. He is about multiple rings. Yeah. He went to a guy who's the GOAT of pretty much almost every major sport outside of Wayne Gretzky and Tom Brady. Those are the three major GOATs. And in my opinion, he went to Jordan and said, how did you make this happen back to back? How did you do it consistently? Because now we've gotten to the mountaintop, but I want to stay here.
Yeah, well, when you hear the other players talk in the interviews, he's got everybody thinking the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Mailata was a perfect example. I heard him this week, and Jordan Mailata was like, "Yeah, that was last year. We're back on. We've got it's a whole new thing now.
We got a job to do now."
Nolan was the same way. Nolan was real clear about it. He said, and I mean, this will tell you the job that Howie has done by drafting the SEC players that he has taken is those guys came from programs that once the championship game was over, they were back in the film room looking at how to do it again.
Right.
That's the way those coaches run those teams. That's the DNA that's in the players that Howie has.
Culture.
You can't erase that DNA. You can't. It's that's just the way they're programmed to think. Just what
Yeah.
Nolan Smith said was like, "Well, I've never heard an Eagles player ever
Well,
speak that way."
keep
know?
I'm
something
telling
in
you, he's
mind.
gonna have a breakout year, man. I'm looking forward
Well,
to
I
every
mean, it just
minute.
tells you the mindset of the guys that they have on the team.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we did that. It's over. Let's go.
Now I'm gonna put a smile on James' face. So just everyone watch at home.
I got a question for James too before we're off the air. I got a hockey question.
So I'm gonna put a real big smile on James' face. So all these Bulldogs that got drafted by the Eagles, the reason why I feel like they're successful is because the culture of winning championships, the culture of winning was already ingrained in them in Georgia.
College. In Georgia and college. Yeah, in college. Yeah.
So all it was transferring that ideology, that culture over to the Philadelphia Eagles and letting it really sink in. And now you have someone like Jalen Hurts, and everyone out there who wants to put Jalen Hurts as 10th or 12th or 18th, whatever. Here's the thing. All of you guys can put him there for stats. That's fine. At the end of the day, if he's raising the trophy, that's all we care about.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that is the only thing he cares about.
Yeah,
so,
and I got to tell you, I think in the back of Jalen's mind, and I believe this, he knows that if he goes back and wins again, they have to shut up.
Yeah.
They have to shut up.
Yeah.
It's like
I want to hear when he gets done the next Super Bowl victory, him go to the podium and he's like, so is that what you want to see? Is that what you wanted to see?
See, I don't think he'll do that. I don't think he'll do that. I think he has too much class for that. He'll let the trophy and the ring speak for itself. And they'll ask him, so what are you going to do now? And he goes, well, that's over. We got to go for next year now.
Got to go for another one.
And I mean, he's going to enjoy it, sip the champagne, take the flowers, and then, okay, we got another season to work for.
Smoke the cigars and move on.
That's it. And I mean, that's the mentality. I mean, look, I've lived my entire life waiting for dynasty in Philadelphia. When was it going to be our turn? When was it going to be us that has the spotlight like Pittsburgh had, like the Cowboys had, like the Patriots had, like the Chiefs had and the Niners had? When is it going to be our turn? Well, guess what?
Why not us? It's our turn now.
Here's the thing: is this if they win the Super Bowl this year, they would be the first time a back-to-back championship has happened in Philly since the 70s and the Flyers.
Yep.
So that is, if you want to talk about, and no offense to the Flyers, it's really difficult to do. But this city is a football city. So no offense to the Flyers of the 70s. I mean,
I agree.
Those parades were off the chain, but Philly's
almost pulled it off. Philly's almost pulled it off.
Yeah, they did.
Till the one
only one game.
The one bloody nil game. The 1-0 game. That was,
Actually, no, it was the Yankees. They could have forced the game 7 in 2009.
Right.
But they almost did it.
Yeah, one bloody nil too. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, that's when Lee gave up the 4-run lead.
Yep.
Against the Yankees, gave up the 4-run lead. I think that was murder.
Yeah.
So, if we're talking about the Eagles coming into this next season, my question is, what team in the NFC? Because we're talking about getting back to the Super Bowl, so we got to beat the NFC to get to the Super Bowl. So I'm not worried about the AFC. Like, they can wait their turn to get to get these hands. Like, that's not an issue. But what team in the NFC should we be, as Eagles fans, watching out for?
I'm going to tell you right now, the Eagles are going to be in the NFC Championship game, but they're going to have to go to San Francisco to win it.
What do you mean?
Okay.
Well, if you look at San Francisco's schedule and you look at the talent that San Francisco has on their team, they are playing almost the last place schedule. They're going to win. They're going to win 14 games easy. They're going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. The Eagles are going to be number 2. The Eagles are going to win probably 13 games, but it's not going to be enough to supplant supplant San Francisco unless the Eagles beat San Francisco this year and they finish tied.
That's
Other
interesting.
than that, they're going to be playing San Francisco for the NFC title. I believe, hands down, that they're better equipped to beat San Francisco. In San Francisco is a tough ask, but the Eagles are younger, and it depends on what kind of injury situation they get to at the end of the season. But the Eagles, in my opinion, are going to be playing in the Super Bowl again, and they're going to be playing Buffalo, and they're going to win. They'll beat Buffalo. The Eagles are going to win back-to-back. That's my prediction now. And what's today's date?
July 26th.
26th.
There it is.
So, James, I'm going to ask you the same question. Which team in the NFC should the Eagles be, watching out for?
You guys probably will laugh about this, but I'll say the Eagles. The Eagles team is going to be the biggest threat. Is the Eagles?
No, that's a great line. That's you're right. They could be their own worst enemy.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. It's just that I don't see anybody as a threat on this team. I mean, I look at Washington. Okay, they got Jaden Daniels, but he could have a sophomore slump. I'm not crazy about the Lions. I'm going to keep it 100 here. I'm not crazy about them.
We don't know what they are.
We don't know what they are with their coordinators.
Their coordinators. We just don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we know what their offense is. Their offense is superior. Their offense is absolutely superior.
But
the problem with them is they got two new coordinators.
Right.
That's true.
And the problem with them is who's coming back from the defense that's going to come in healthy.
Yeah. And also they're still dealing with Aiden Hutchinson's injury too. I mean, I don't know if he's practicing.
Well, they still have a lot of defensive injuries that are hangovers from last year. Who's coming back?
That's true. That's true.
But they're going to put points on the board. They're going to. I mean, it depends. Who's their coordinator now? Who's their offensive coordinator? Who'd they hire?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not entirely I think they hired within. I'm not.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
So
that's bad.
But because
never works that way. It never works the way you expect it to go.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that'll be Dan Campbell's job. They'll be coaching the offensive side.
And here's another prediction for you. As good as Washington was last year, they're going to struggle to win 10 games.
I think so too.
They're going to struggle to win 10 games.
Well,
in a way, they're like the Sixers. They bring in old talent.
Yeah.
Well, they always do that.
And that's where I think it's going to lay them astray. Because here's my thing is you can't guarantee that any of these guys are going to hold up in this long of a season.
They're not.
No.
The guy that was their biggest get this offseason, Larry Tunsil, he was on the offensive line for the Texans who gave up the most quarterback sacks and quarterback hits.
That's true.
This isn't you saw way C.J. Stroud struggled last year. Now you're going to put him as Jaden Daniels' eyes and ears and bodyguard? No, thank you. I'm good. Jaden Daniels better be able to run for his life because he might have to.
Well, Jaden Daniels isn't careful. He's going to be the next RG3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said that before.
I could see that.
And you know what? I don't wish that on anybody.
No, I don't.
No, I don't know either.
He's really exciting. He's fun to watch. He's a lot of fun to watch. I mean, I hate him because he's Washington, but
Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's like 100 years old too. He's shot. He's shot too. Exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And also they have Marshawn Lattimore too. I mean, they got a lot of young old talent on that team.
But McLaren left, didn't he? He's not on that team anymore, right?
Oh, he's holding
it out.
He's holding out.
Yeah, I think he's holding out.
That's a good sign.
Yeah,
he wants money, so because he just saw them bring in all this talent, and yet they refuse to go give him money.
I keep forgetting they got Austin Eckler too, but Eckler is not even effective anymore.
You got to think.
No, Eckler's done.
Yeah, he's done too.
You got to think though with McLaurin, you got to kind of sympathize with the guy a little.
Yeah.
Because he just saw them spend all this money, and he's like, wait. I've been here since day one. Why the hell am I not getting paid? Y'all opening the checkbook for everyone else but me.
Yeah, they got to pay. They got to pay Scary Terry.
Yeah, and that would be really unfortunate if Scary Terry went somewhere else.
For them, it would be, not for us.
For shame.
That
That guy kills us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
But-
definitely an eagle killer.
This is the thing that kind of gets to me with the NFC. So I'm with all of you guys. I was kind of going down the list, and the team that I think is going to be the dark horse in the NFC this year, and everyone will laugh at me, and that's fine. The Atlanta Falcons.
No, that's not funny. They're good.
Yeah.
And they
Falcons are
got
good.
better.
Yeah.
And
You got a
and-
point there, Joe.
And here's the thing. They're now all in with Michael Penix. So this is a team that is going with the youth movement, but they're also going with, the ability. They have these guys that have been in the right position. Now it's time to win. And that division in the NFC South is ripe for the taking.
Oh yeah,
And-
that's an easy division to win.
Well, I mean, if you said it was like Kirk Cousins, then I'll be starting to laugh. But Penix is the real deal, though. He is tough. Bijan Robinson's a good running back too. I like him. I like
I still
Bijan.
feel like Kirk Cousins is either going to just ride out his contract, and they're going to keep him as like a viable backup in case something happens with Penix.
With Cousins, you never know because he'll
You
probably
never
just.
know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You never know because he can be like having a hissy fit and one
Well,
out, like he's doing now.
We just brought up RG3. Let's remember, Kirk Cousins was drafted the same year as RG3
That's true.
on the same team and was the backup for RG3. So
Right.
Point.
this is the part where Kirk Cousins may be the bona fide backup quarterback, and that's what he might just be, and that doesn't surprise me at all if that's his role.
he's a hell of a backup.
No,
he's
he is absolutely.
He's a hell of a backup to have.
He's
a very
okay. I feel confident in saying this. He's the best backup in the NFL. He's the best backup quarterback in the NFL.
I wouldn't
feel
disagree with that
confident.
at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that at all.
So before we get out of here, Frank, you had a question for our NHL superstar over here.
Yeah, James, I
Yeah.
gotta ask you.
Sure.
Ask you.
Sure.
Now that Carter Hart has been acquitted, what's going to happen with him?
I don't know, man.
Because he is the Jose Alvarado of the Flyers.
That's true. That's true.
Well, technically he's not because he got acquitted. So
No. He is because he's just ruined the last 2 years for the Flyers.
No, I agree with that.
And-
but
I'm with you on that.
They don't have an answer.
Alvarado
They don't
was
have an
found
answer.
guilty. Like Alvarado. Was
I know that,
guilty.
but the Flyers have cut their ties with this guy,
No, I
and they
get that.
don't have an answer for the Nets.
No, I
Yeah,
know.
and you think about it now. I mean, like you still got to deal with Urson and Fedotov and all that too.
Yeah.
But
And the two other goalies
Yeah.
in Russia.
Do the Flyers take a chance and bring him back?
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit risky, but I mean, look, he was like I said, he was proven not guilty. In a way, I don't think it's gonna be bad as like Michael Vick was in 2009. I mean, maybe he'll probably come back with a better mindset and probably with a better. But I think right now, I think the other thing too is that it could be risky, especially like you brought up with Alvarado bringing him back. But yeah, I might have to think about that. If they bring him back, I mean, it'll be great to know that the Flyers' goalie history of trying to get another goaltender will be ancient history if you bring him back.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I don't know, man. I think it's a little bit. I think a little bit far-fetched going to admit. But then again, if the Flyers bring him back, that'll be something to keep a close eye on. If they want to give him an offer that he cannot refuse, I guess.
Do you think they'll do that? Do you think the guys who are running the team now will take that risk of jeopardizing the public relations?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
See, I think
I'm
they
not
could get
sure.
away with it. I think they could get away with it because the Flyers fans have been so desensitized in the last 7 years that they'll look at that and go, "We got a shot. Take it."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
See, I think the opposite. I think they will sign. If they do go get him, I think that it's a worthwhile deal for a couple reasons.
Yeah.
Wait,
it
what
could.
was the comment that was just up there, James? Who,
Sure. It was a Connor Acuity. It says he was barred by the NHL, so I'm not sure.
Yeah,
what
but
that means.
that's going to have to come off.
That's going to be lifted.
That's gonna be lifted. That's what I was thinking, too.
It's going to be lifted.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
He was barred because there were charges brought against him
Exactly.
and the other player.
Sure.
Right.
Once
Sure.
you're acquitted, then
Yeah,
the bar lifts.
They will.
Well-
They're going to get a lawsuit if they don't lift the bar.
Oh yeah.
Well, there was a couple other players. I mean, there was a player from the Flames. I think it was acquitted. Adam
Yeah,
Foote's
they all
kid
were. So far, they've all been acquitted.
Was all
They've all
acquitted
been
too.
acquitted. Right.
Yeah.
So, but here's my thing. This is how I feel like if the Flyers brought him back, how they could,
Wheel
make
him in.
a better win. Well, not just that, but like, Frank brought up about the PR, and I agree, it's a PR nightmare if you do nothing.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
I feel like the Flyers could flip it on its head, much like they did what the Eagles did with Michael Vick. When Michael Vick came here, now I also want to be clear, as I said about Alvarado. Alvarado was guilty because he got suspended. He was guilty, and Mike Vick was guilty. He served his time and came out. He was guilty. Okay, but the reclamation project for Vick was a PR nightmare, or could have been. What they did to fix it is they said, okay, you want to come play here? You got to go and do these charities. You got to be.
Well, he had to own it. They made him own it.
They made him own
his guilt.
You have to own this and do right by it. You have to reconcile your sins.
Mm-hmm.
So,
See, but here's the thing with Hart. Once he's acquitted, they're saying he has no sins.
Yeah.
So I don't care.
How can you?
If I'm signing you in public opinion, look, he was innocent in a court of law. He was not innocent in matter of public opinion.
See, this is dicey.
This is dicey.
Because Joe, you're asking him to without saying the words, admit that he was guilty after he's been found not guilty.
Well, no, you are asking him. You're not asking. You're telling him this is the deal on the table. You can either not take it and claim your innocence and do what you want to do, but you can also make this better because your image is fractured. It's not just the Flyers. Carter Hart has to fix Carter Hart's image. And the fact of the matter is, whether you're innocent or guilty, I mean, you need to kind of better yourself in a way where you don't have to say, I'm guilty. But I feel bad.
I agree with that. I agree with
you on that. Yes,
I absolutely agree with that. There is a way he could do it without admitting his guilt.
Right.
He could come out and say, "Look, I made poor choices when I was an 18-year-old kid."
Right.
And I'm going to help 18-year-old kids not make poor choices.
Exactly.
Well, you look at here's a good example of that. I know you guys are not skateboard fans, but Brandon Novak, after coming out of rehab, he actually helped people out coming out of rehab and recovery to get better as a person, like to help people out to go to recovery and rehab. But I know it's a different topic here, but same kind of scenario.
James, see, this is how little you know about me. I had the very first Dogtown deck in Philadelphia.
Wow.
In the 1970s. My brother brought it back from California for me. I was a skateboarder.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flip that around in your head.
I did not have that on my bingo card.
I didn't have that on my bingo card either, brother.
I used to go to skateboard parks. I had
nice.
Chicago trucks with Sims conical wheels and a Dogtown deck.
Yep. So you know the things to do about the Westchester skateboarders like Bam Bam Margera.
Oh yeah, well that was after me. I mean, I was married and done skateboarding by that point. But I mean, when I was in high school, I was the only kid in high school skateboarding. You know?
Nice. Yeah, I mean, there was an old buddy of mine that was a big skateboarder though, but I guess he got into drugs.
But I'm 64. I was skateboarding when I was 18. Think about how many years ago that was.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I'm still a young buck too. So
I am. Believe me, that's when like the Bee Gees were big.
Joe, I could get back on a skateboard now.
Could you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow, like Steve Caballero, man.
I did it once with my brother gave my son a wave board for Christmas. Right?
Oh wow.
And AJ didn't want any parts of it. He didn't want a skateboard. So I gave it to my son-in-law, right? And we're outside in front of my house, and I jump on the skateboard, and my daughter's standing there, and I just push off. I get down the street, I do a kicktail back. I come back up the street, I'm waveboarding up and down the street, and my daughter looks at me and goes, when you got on that skateboard, I thought you were going to break your neck. And she goes, I forgot. She said, I forgot you had a life once.
That's the thing is like I say to people, I'm like, I used to surf, and they
Right.
look at me and they're like, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And once upon a time, I didn't weigh this much, and I didn't have these issues. I'm like, yes, I could surf. It happened.
Right. I was
And
better
then,
at
like,
skimboarding than I was at surfing. I loved skimboarding. I could like
Yeah.
go in and pop off a wave. And
I loved surfing because
Yeah.
just going out about 30 or 40 feet out and just let the serenity that you had
Yeah.
out there. It was just you could think, you could just listen, and the only thing I ever regretted about that is the one possible potential shark attack I almost had. With the run-in
Oh,
with the
wow.
tigers with the tiger shark. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm not going to go out this far anymore.
You know, when I was growing up, I grew up in Fairmount, and I used to skateboard down my street. 23rd Street was a hill after it passed my house. Like in the same block that the prison's on, there was a hill that led down. to
Okay,
Fairmount Avenue.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, right where the London Tavern is
Yeah,
on the corner.
my friend lives up there.
Okay, well, half a block up from the London Tavern, there's an apartment building, and the ground floor of that apartment building was Tug McGraw's apartment.
Oh, wow.
And Tug used to come out and watch me skateboard up and down the street.
Nice.
You know, I used to talk to Tug all the time. He's
Nice.
like, look at me, and he would see me come out with a broom, and I would sweep the stones and the glass off the street so I could go down the street and cut around and not fall off the board when I hit a stone. You know, and he saw me because he says, "What the hell are you doing, man?" He says, "You're sweeping the street. Why?" And I went, "Well, I'm a skateboarder, and I don't want to fall. I don't want a stone to stop my wheel." So, and he's like, "Oh, really? Cool. Show me." So, I mean, like, he used to come out in the summertime.
That's awesome.
This was after he was retired. And he would sit outside and he'd watch me skateboard. We'd talk, you know.
Very cool.
It was pretty cool. It was really cool.
To kind of round back to Carter Hart for a minute, I got to say this. If Carter Hart comes back and is able to bring his image back and he's able to do it, maybe with the Flyers, you got to think that's going to be a hell of a 30 for 30. That's going to be a hell if he's able to like pull his life together and his career together. And I think
Joe, he's going to have to wait 30 years to do it.
I understand.
Or maybe an E60 because they did one with the Vancouver Canucks riots like after they lost the Stanley Cup.
I can't believe my picture keeps going sideways on me. I don't know what the hell's up with that.
So I mean, like that's the thing is like I think he should come back. He's going to have a lot of guardrails. If he does, a lot of guardrails.
Yep.
And so, but
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to put guardrails when you've been found not guilty.
Yeah, it's a tough question to ask.
But Carter Hart. Here's more of it. Carter Hart should want to put those guardrails up, not because he wants to claim guilty. He just should do it because of the unfortunate situation that he was quote unquote accused of.
Sure.
But he should do it for the victims, not the
Joe. What happened with that girl? I don't believe for a minute they didn't partake in some activity. Okay.
Not
in this day and age.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, and he has to own the poor choices that he made that night.
Yes.
Regardless of how the Canadian government framed it,
right?
Because they didn't want some of their national heroes to be. I mean, look, I think there was a lot of politics at play with what happened with the acquittal.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had to do what they did to make it look like it was transparent.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell me nothing happened.
Well, you got to understand something. All these players, all of them, not just Carter Hart, but all of these players are all going to have the scarlet letter on their chest for the rest of their
absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But it's what they do now.
Right.
That makes the difference if that scarlet letter fades.
To me, it's what are the Flyers willing to accept?
It could be a great story, and for them,
it could be a great reclamation story if he owns it.
Yeah.
If he owns up to it.
If he owns his reconciliation, then yes.
Yes.
You know?
And yeah. Well,
But
the other thing too is that it'll be interesting. I mean, there'll be a lot of media like asking him about that night because I remember very closely when Michael Vick was coming to the Eagles. There was a lot of sports outlets like CNN, Associated
friends
Press,
of mine. Friends of mine who are
that.
animal lovers who were like, "Oh, I'm not rooting for the Eagles as long as he's on that team."
Oh yeah, I remember. Yep, I remember that.
I mean, it was big. It was big. I didn't mean to start a half an hour discussion with that.
No.
No, don't worry about it. It's all good, buddy. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
This is interesting because, like, here's the other thing. So, like, for those animal lovers, the thing that Mike Vick did both then and now, because he still does it, he donates to the local Philadelphia SPCA.
Yeah.
And so he makes sure that, like, no other dog or animal goes through, a torturous life. Yeah.
The same problem he did.
Yeah. And so, like, I remember when those same people getting in an uproar and and James, what you were saying about, like, the news just being in a news blitz.
Oh,
look,
yeah.
Here's
it was like a scandal, like without being a scandal.
And if they sign Carter Hart, that will probably be the same thing. Because
it
will be the hottest news story.
Although, I mean, I hate to say it this way, James, but it's the Flyers. It's not going to be that big news.
No,
it's one news cycle and it's gone.
Right.
If the Flyers, you're right about that, Frank. But if the Flyers were relevant, then it'll be like a big story.
If the Flyers are smart, they wait until the week of the opening game of the NFL.
You stole my thunder. I was
just
about to say that.
Yep.
If they're smart, they would announce the day of.
That's right. They completely bury the lead. They would completely bury the lead.
Yeah. Because they would be like, okay, so the Flyers signed Carter Hart. By the way, the Eagles are dropping their banner today.
Right. Yeah, and they're kicking off. They're kicking off in 20 minutes.
Yeah. By the way.
That would be the ultimate bombshell, man.
Yeah.
That would be the ultimate.
And that would be a smart ploy too, because you would put it right under there, and you're like,
I think Keith Jones is smart enough to pull that off that way.
Oh yeah,
I think he could do that.
He knows the media in Philadelphia.
Absolutely,
he knows how it would work.
Yeah, he absolutely knows how it would work.
But I mean, here's the last question about this, James.
Sure.
My question to you is: so say this happens. Say Carter Hart comes back to the Flyers.
Okay.
This guy hasn't been on skates or playing hockey in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
What the?
Well, you don't know that. He might have been playing non-league stuff.
Okay, fine.
If he's smart, he's been playing.
If he's smart doing that stuff,
right?
Yeah.
Fine and fair. But here's my question: would you name him as the starting goaltender?
No.
That early? No. I think he's got to work himself back in.
Okay.
He's got to go to the minors. He's got to go to the minors.
Yeah. I think he has to go back down to the Phantoms to recoup here.
Yep. He's going to have to go play for the Phantoms, or what's the team in they have two minor league teams locally, right?
Yeah, I think it's like Reading. I think it's somewhere up in Reading.
Yes.
Reading is not the Flyers team.
No. I'm sorry.
You're not thinking of Hershey, right?
I was going to say, maybe, Hershey's
or Scranton. Yeah, Scranton.
Yeah, the Penguins.
Yeah.
Hershey's in Washington.
Reading's the Penguins. Yeah, that's the Penguins.
That's right.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for our show today.
Hockey knowledge.
Yeah, see? We learned
skateboarding and hockey.
We learned two important things from Frank today. He's a skateboarder and he knows hockey. There you go.
There you go.
So for us, that's going to do it for us for today. Look, you got the Yankees and Phillies tonight. That is going to
be it's 1 o'clock game, dude.
It's actually today.
It's 1 o'clock today.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yankee Standard Time.
Yeah, Yankee Standard Time. So you're going to have that this weekend. It's going to be a good series. You got, other AL teams that we're about to face. This is going to be the stretch run to determine whether Frank is in or out on the Phillies. So Dave Dombrowski, get on the phone. For Frank Finnigan,
let me ask you this too, Joe, before I know we got to wrap up here. But, if the Phillies don't do anything in the trade deadline, where your head will be at. Because I want to just ask, because Mitch is going to be asking you that next week for sure.
I will respond in
To be continued.
Yeah, to do be continued.
Coward. Answer the question, coward.
I will not be peer pressured by you.
No,
Oh, you
no,
coward. That is, oh my God, that's a terrible answer.
That's horrible.
Not letting you off the hook with that, Joe. Sorry.
Come on.
All right, I will say it like this: if Dave Dombrowski creates a vanilla trade deadline offer, and he just
vanilla?
vanilla.
I know exactly what he means by that.
So if he makes a vanilla trade, I will be a little shaky on the Phillies. I will be extremely shaky on the Phillies.
I promise you this: if Mitch is going to hear this right now, so bear with us. So Mitch is going to be asking you, like, if they didn't do well, you have to own up to your word, buddy.
I
got to own up to your word, brother.
I understand. And look, I'll say this to Frank, and because I said it to Mitch, so Frank, you'll be held at the same accountability. We'll figure out what the pretenses are later, but. If you guys don't believe that the Phillies are going to make the playoffs, because Mitch is in the same boat with you, and I still feel like they will, we're going to have to put a bet on the line here, because I honestly think that this team is still a 90-win, 92-win team.
Oh,
Joe,
man.
Joe.
I don't know, man.
Joe,
I'm sorry.
Are you sure you want to go
sure about
with a bet
that?
against me? What's my record, Joe?
He's the same guy that won't convince Matty B was wrong either, so...
Joe, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that?
I'm not confirming it now.
Okay.
Not confirming it now. You're not bullying me into that answer either. No, we're going to figure this out after the trade deadline.
Oh, man.
Because your decision, your opinion might change, and my opinion might change. So we'll figure it out after the trade deadline.
Yeah, I got to see some real positive stuff at the trade deadline for my opinion to change.
As the one.
Because I don't think they're 2 players away from being fixed.
So everyone, keep your fingers crossed, your toes crossed, your eyes crossed, everything crossed. But for Frank Finnigan, for James Scorza, I'm Joe Marks. We are the Pattison Ave Sports Show, and we are out of here.
Later.
All right, boys. Later.